Hi, welcome back to Art and Soul. I'm so glad you could join me again today. Beautiful sunny day here in Salem, Oregon, and I'm hoping you're having a good day wherever you're at. We started a painting last episode of these cute little pigs that we call casting pearls before swine. Let's pan over to the canvas here, and I'll show you kind of what we started in this last episode. We have our basic 16 by 20 canvas, and we've just kind of started with this little outline of these two pigs. This will be the male, and this will be the female over here, and we'll have a pearl necklace around her neck. Kind of a fun little painting at this point. It doesn't look like much, but that's the process that I think one of the reasons why I like doing this show is that oftentimes people don't realize the steps that you have to take to put that together. So let's go over to the palette really quickly, and I'll show you what we've got and what we'll be working with. We've got our titanium white here. We've got this, it's a really dark cad red. We've got our alizarin crimson, dioxazine purple, and our cobalt blue. And what we used on our background on the last episode was alizarin crimson with some purple and with that cobalt blue. It's a little brighter. I want this to be more pastel in feel, and so that's what we'll do now on this episode is kind of do the next layer and start building. We'll probably work on this for probably take us 2 more episodes to complete this painting. So I'm going to grab my I have my 1-inch brush here, and this paint is still wet. That's up here on the background. I want this to be lighter. And if you didn't happen to catch the last show, at the end I took my rag and I wiped down a lot of the excess paint off of this to lighten it up and to make it a little more pastel feel to it. But it's still a little bit brighter than what I'd like. So I'm just going to go straight into my titanium white, and I'm basically going to come in and I'm just scrubbing that titanium white into that wet canvas. And what it's doing here is it's lightening up what we've already got on there. And I'll do this till I'm happy with the color that we've got, and I'm not taking a little care going around the ears of the pigs. It doesn't have to be, because we're going to work those a little more, so it's not any problem if I go over the paint that's there. And I'm liking how that's working there. It's definitely lightened that up, and that's definitely what we're trying to accomplish here. So I'll just continue to work, and like I said on the last episode, if you'd like to paint this painting at home yourself, contact me, and I can via email, and I can send you a template pattern that you can work off of, transfer it onto your canvas. So a lot of times people are afraid to do things because they go, or paint, saying, I don't know how to draw, and so they're automatically say, I can't paint because I don't know how to draw. Well, there's a lot of different ways to get the images onto your canvas, and once you get the image on there, it makes the painting part easy. And I think I say it all the time. I truly believe that I can teach anybody to paint. So I'm just kind of going in, filling in a little bit on the face of that male pig. I guess that would be called a boar, wouldn't it? I don't know. Probably get emails from people going, don't you know what a male or a female? I know the female is called a sow, and I do know, because of growing up on a farm, that the males are boars. So I don't want any emails from anybody complaining that I don't know my pigs. So I'm just blending again, scrubbing that titanium white into the colors that are already on the canvas, and it's blending on the canvas. It's lightening up, giving me the effect that I want. And I can continue. I could do this multiple times to attain. If I'm not getting the effect that I want, I can always continue this process and to get down to where I'm happy with the color and the effect. So I know this is pretty repetitive, but I think that it's important kind of to know this process and know how it works. So many times when I'm doing lessons, people just, they don't realize the steps that go into painting a picture and the process. And so that's, you know, if you're new to this, this might be a good introduction for you to see the process. And I think what it does too is it gives you an idea of that you're never completely locked in to something painting. If you're not happy with it, there's lots of options that you've got to change it and to make it what you want it to be. So we'll get his little snout in here. Maybe go just a little bit now, touching a little bit of that cad red, and so I want to add a little alizarin crimson into it, just to pinken it up a little bit, and a little titanium white in there, and that's a little stronger than what I would like. So I'll show you what we do. I just grab my old t-shirt, and I just rub that out. Now, if you notice, what that does is it still maintains that color, but because of putting down the titanium white on there, it brings out that color. It's just very subtle. It's not harsh like, well, I'll do it over here. So that's the color that it was to start with, and you can see how strong that is. But by taking and lightly rubbing with my cloth here, I can take and blend that out and soften that up, and it looks much more towards the color scheme that I'm wanting. So you know, it's one of those things that it's a little bit of a trial and error sometimes, and I mix and blend so much up on my canvas rather than I want to bring in some of the darker blue down here at the bottom. I blend on the canvas a lot more than what I do down on the palette, and the main reason is because like in that situation there, we'll go back to the palette. When I mixed that color up, it looked, I thought, right on the palette, but when I put it up onto the canvas, it was too strong. And that happens quite often. So that's the reason why I'll get a color that's close to what I'm wanting on the canvas, and then I will take and put it up onto the canvas, and that will then I can take and adjust it as I need to. It's another thing that people panic, I think, a lot of times. I see it in lessons. They'll put a color up on the picture and go, "Oh man, that's not what I wanted," and they're afraid they've ruined it. Well, they haven't ruined it. It just is something that can be adjusted. Now, I did this intentionally. I put this blue in down on the corners here because I wanted to kind of have the colors fade off, and we'll go to our big brush here in a minute to blend out, but I intentionally brought in that same blue that I have down at the bottom up here at the top, just to show, see, this is so strong that it doesn't work with the effect we're doing of trying to make that background a very soft, muted color. Again, I'll grab my my little t-shirt here, and I'll lightly rub. Hopefully my hand's probably in the way as I'm doing this, and my apologies for that. But by just rubbing that out, I still have the blue in there, but it's more subtle, it's more muted, and that's much more of the effect that I'm wanting. So again, I've said it several times already, and I've say it almost every show. Don't panic if you do something and it doesn't look right. Grab a rag or a paper towel. I prefer a rag because paper towels, a lot of times I get little fibers from the paper towel on the canvas. But do that, and I think you'll find that it's going to maybe really give you the effect that you want. And like now, I'm going to grab my 3-inch brush here to blend this, but it might be that right there is the effect that you were really trying to accomplish without bringing a blender brush. There's nothing that says you can't leave that just the way it is. I'm choosing to blend it out a little bit more, but a lot of times when I'm painting, I'll rub that off, and I'll like the effect that it gives, and I'll just leave it the way it is. So, people, I say this too, don't feel like you're limited to using brushes. Maybe and I have off times in my, all the time in my studio, but I have Q-tips. And Q-tips work really well. And sorry to interrupt that, but something happened here and I want to show you this. Now, a lot of people panic with this happens too. Over here we have a hair that one of the bristles came out of my brush, and it's laying across the canvas here. Now, it's easy in this situation because I can just take and pull it off. But let's say that I had left that on there, I didn't see it on it, and it dried. Don't panic. Don't try to get it off when the paint starts tacking up. Let it completely dry, and you can just take your finger and just lightly, after the paint is dry, just lightly rub over it, and that hair will come off from your bristle out of your brush. So just a little tidbit there. As I was talking about the Q-tips, I saw that happen, and so don't ever panic. Nothing is set in stone. This is very forgiving. and anybody can do this. And so, I just encourage you to pick up a set of paints and some brushes. It doesn't matter how good a quality they are. I think it's just important to start putting down paint onto the canvas and let the creativity and let the magic happen in front of you. Bob Ross used to use the coinage back to one of his series that he had on OPB is called The Joy of Painting. And I think that's a great name because this is a joy. Every time I sit down to paint, it's a real blessing and a real joy. And usually I always get up from the canvas feeling better than what I did when I sat down. And if you get frustrated, I mean, I get frustrated too, and I don't want you to think that there's not days where that happens. But if you get frustrated with it, step back from it for a little while and come back to it. And a lot of times I've got in the studio, I may have 4 or 5 paintings going at a time, and I do that so that if I get frustrated or I need the paint to dry on something, I can set it aside and come back and paint on it on another day. So anyway, all of that said, didn't mean to get sidetracked, but I just think it's important that you know that this is supposed to be a fun process here, not something that brings you anxiety and stress. So as I was just talking there, I grabbed some alizarin crimson, some of my dioxazine purple, and I'm going to grab now some of my titanium white. It's pretty good right there. We'll see what it's like when we get up here. I want to take this ear that's back here. It would be the ear for the sow, and I want that to be, it'll be more faded and not going to have the crispness or the brightness that the more up front would be, because it's behind the sow's ear here. So and if you know you've watched this show, we always talk about you have to have dark in order to have light, for the light to show. So this will be lighter here than what this background is after we get the next layer on. Now, if you notice, as I was putting this on, I didn't cover up all of that base color that I had initially. That's the whole point of that underpainting, is making sure that you, when you put on the next layer, that it is still showing some of that through. That's what gives that three-dimensional feel to it. I'm just grabbing now. I haven't cleaned my brush. Just using the titanium white. And as we get into this a little bit further next week, I think you'll see that makes a little more sense as we get going with it, redefining it a little bit more. And you can put as much detail or as little detail as you would like. And as I mentioned earlier, I mean, you can take and adjust the colors to the things that make you happy. I'm choosing to go with kind of these pinkish colors. Just I think it works well with the composition of the painting. My apologies for my little coughing. I've been fighting. I don't know if it's allergies or if it's a little cold I've got going, but I'm fighting here the last couple of weeks. So, as you can see, I'm just building up. I'm adding in more titanium white, just adding it in to give us the gradation, which gives the sense of the three-dimensional, and that's what this is about. Is, you know, we want it to look three-dimensional. I'm grabbing in just purple. I haven't cleaned my brush, but this is going to be a little darker down in this section here. I don't want it all purple, so again, I'm just taking and bringing in some titanium white, just gradually building this up little by little. And the principles here are, you know, let's say that you don't have no interest in painting a pig, and that's okay. But the principles are the same and can be applied to almost any painting that you do. Now, even though this is not meant to be what you would call realistic of these pigs, it's more, I guess, I don't want to use the term cartoony, but it's much more fanciful, I guess, than what you would call realistic. But at the same time, it's important that you maintain at least making sure that the dimensions are correct, the anatomy is at close proximity to what the real pig's anatomy would be. And if there's, you know, if you've got a question on that, you know, there's lots. I go to Google Images all the time just because it gives me, I can look up any animal and get a host of pictures and different colors or different poses, and it really helps me with making sure that the anatomy of my animals, or any subject matter for that matter, are correct. So do your research. If you're not comfortable with it, you know, look it up. There's so many resources that we have available nowadays on the internet, and it's very makes it so nice as an artist to be able to have that kind of reference material. For years, I used to have a collection, and I still do it to a point. I keep photographs of different subject matter, of hard copies, actual pictures, so that I can go through and if there's a certain subject that I'm painting, if there's things that I've taken pictures of maybe in the past, I can reference those, and it helps me out. But anymore with having the access on the internet, it's just amazing. There's really nothing that you can't find. I don't know if that's good or bad, but we'll say that it's a good thing. So there's my little sow. Got her kind of started now. This is going to be a little darker down here because it's going to be kind of between them here. So kind of darken this up a little bit down here. Add in a little bit more of the purple here in the shadowed area. Maybe even add just a little bit of that blue down to change that shadow value a little bit. And if it's too strong, we can, like I said, we can always wipe this off and incorporate in a different color if you'd like. And that's a little stronger than what I really would care for, so we'll probably come back and tweak that a little bit. But as always, we are running out of time here. I hope that you've enjoyed kind of watching this process of these cute little pigs in love, and I'm hoping that maybe it's something that has inspired you to maybe pick up a brush and to paint along with me. And like I said, if this is something that you would like to paint at home and aren't comfortable with drawing out, let me know, and I can get you a copy of a pattern so that you can paint this little picture. It could be done on lots of different levels, and cards are littler paintings. Be great little gift ideas. Well, and with that, we'll call that done for the day. Seems like our time always goes so quickly here on Art and Soul. I am so glad you joined me today. Have a great week. Be inspired, be creative, be blessed. Talk to somebody this week. Make them smile. Encourage people around you. And we'll see you next week here on Art and Soul.